All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's form building webinar. My name is Nick, and I'll be walking us through the builder. Today's topic is going to be going over combining packets and just bringing forms over from other packets as well. We'll go through the different ways you can do that, and we'll also talk a little bit about one of our new features in this webinar as well with the synced forms, as that will also apply. If you do have any questions as we go along, please hold on to those. I will be opening up that chat a little bit later in the webinar, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of those questions or go back over any information if necessary. But okay, we'll go ahead and jump right in. Today we'll be starting out on our packets and forms page. This is where all of those packets, or all of our packets will exist in the account. We can get to that public link just underneath the packet title, and this link will never change. So no matter how many times you update that form, this will always take you to the most recently published version. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about what the aim is for today's webinar. But basically, there may be forms that might be used in multiple packets. And then in some cases, you might want to be combining two packets together or just adding a form from another packet into a current one, whatever the case may be. But for the purposes of this, I'll first go through the import form function and show you how to duplicate a form from another packet into the current one. So we'll go ahead and use our FormDr training packet first here. And we'll go ahead and click those three dots on the right and edit forms. It's going to take us to step one of the builder, which is the add forms page. And on this page, we'll be able to add or remove any tabs from this packet. And you'll do so by using one of the four buttons below. Your first option is going to be a scratch tab. This is just going to add a blank tab for you to build out a custom form on. The template option will allow you to import one of our pre-made templates, but the one we're talking about currently is going to be the import form function, the import form button. This is going to allow you to import a duplicate copy into this packet. It will not pull it out of that other packet. It simply duplicates it and makes a copy of it into this packet. However, those forms will exist separately, so if you do make edits to one of those forms in that other packet, those changes are not going to be reflected in the current packet. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll click that import form button. It's going to bring up this prompt, and from the drop down, we'll be able to select from any of our other packets in the account, which we'll choose our registration packet for this demonstration. And then maybe we need to bring over that consent form and the upload cards form. So we'll do this twice, and first we'll just grab that signed consent. Now this is going to separate out from packet, and then the form itself will be the tab within the packet. So this packet has three tabs within, and we'll be bringing over that consent form. And let's go ahead and bring over that uploads cards form as well. And it's as simple as that. We've imported two duplicate copies of forms that are already built for us in another packet, so we don't have to recreate them here. This is also useful if you've made extensive edits to something that is in multiple packets and you don't want to have to make those edits 4 or 5 different times for all of the packets that it's contained in. So in those cases, once you've made those edits in one of those packets, I just recommend importing that edited form into the current packet and then deleting out the old one. Well, you'll have an opportunity to update that information once you get into step 2, which is the builder. So if we go into step 2, we can click over and see our signed consent form that we've added, also our uploads page. If we need to update the order of any of these tabs, you can do so by clicking on the tab you wish to move and using the left or right arrows to move it up or down in the order. All right. And now, once we have the form built and edited to where you like, we'll go ahead and click Next to Style. It's going to take you to the Style page, and the Style page is also a live preview of the form. So if you do have any conditional information or signature fields or anything like that, you can see all of that in action here on this page. So you can get a feel for how that's going to look for the patient, and then if anything's not displaying in the way that you like, you can always just go right back into the builder and update that information accordingly. But once you're ready here, we'll go ahead and click Publish. And this is going to give us one last opportunity to change the title of our packet or collect any of the other information from this packet we may need. It does say publish, but we have one more step to go before this form or these changes have been made and is live. And we'll just need to click that Finish Building Back to My Account button or the My Account button at the bottom right. Either one's going to take you right back to the Send and Receive page. And on this page, you'll know that those changes have been saved and published. That form will now be published as that latest version with those changes. And we can go back down to the Packets and Forms page. We can see that, well, we started out with 3 forms. We now have 5 in there, and we can click that public link to go to a live version of that form and see all of our forms within. All right. Now, if you are combining a packet and you're creating a new packet or you're updating a current one to include the forms that are in another packet, it will all be done the same way using that Import Form button. But maybe we want to create a packet that contains all of our registration forms and all of our FormDr training forms. To do so, we're just going to add a packet, and you'll want to add forms as a packet. It's very important that everyone understands that the packet is just the container of the forms within, and it can contain just one form, or it can contain as many as you want. You can add an unlimited amount of forms to a packet, but the packet will be sent, or when sent to a patient, they will receive all of the forms within it. We will be getting into synced forms here in just a little bit, so I'll wait on that, but just know that even if you are adding one single form, it is usually best to go ahead and add that as a packet. We will need to add a packet for this one because we will have multiple tabs within. And so to do so, again, we're just going to start out with that Import Form button. And we'll start with our registration packet. We'll bring over the information. And then we'll bring the signed consent and the upload cards page. We'll also import over from our other packet our medical history. We'll leave the patient info out of this one since we have our patient information from our registration, but we'll just go ahead and bring over our our medical history and our medical release forms from this packet, as we had the same 2 forms, the consent and upload cards page in both. So now we have all of the tabs from both packets. Once you have added them, you are free to get rid of this first tab, this form title tab. This is only included because each packet is going to need a patient name widget at least once on one of these tabs within the packet. But as we do have that on our second tab here, we won't need this first tab. All added packets are just given a scratch tab by default. Get rid of it that way on the Add Forms page just by clicking the 3 dots, delete, and confirming. So we have our new packet here. We can go next to Build. If we do need to update any further information on this packet, we can do so in the Builder. And then we'll go to our Style page. Now you'll notice the styling of this packet is non-existent as we've just added it. So on the Style page, we will have an opportunity to update our logo file or change the background color. If you have already styled a packet in your account, all you'll need to do is use the Select Style dropdown at the very top of that list. We can then select any of the other packets in our account. If you do have one that has already been styled, we can select that one, for instance. Click the Import button, and it will bring over that styling and that logo file for this packet. So you won't have to go through and add those specific colors each time for each little section, especially if you've gotten into changing the selection option colors and things like that. Next, we'll go to the Publish page, and this is going to give us an opportunity to rename that packet. So we'll just title this one Webinar Packet. Make sure that you click that Save Name button to lock that in. And again, once we're ready, either the Finish Building button or that My Account button at the bottom right, both of those are going to take us back to our Send and Receive page. Back to the Packets and Forms page, and we have our brand new packet created from the forms that we already had in existence. And so you can do this and mix and match any forms that are already created in your account. You can again add as many forms to a packet as you like. So definitely utilize that import form function, as it can save you some time when you're building out a bunch of different packets. All right. So next we're going to talk a little bit about the synced form. As I'd mentioned earlier, that you would want to add most forms as a packet. That will keep them on this page, but if we go to the Forms tab here on this page, this will take you to the synced forms section. All accounts with our most recent update will now have access to one synced form as well as the packets up to their limit in their account. So you're basically getting one extra form that can be used, and this can also be sent out as an individual link if the patient only needs to fill out that one form. But it can also be used into other packets as well, also using that import form option, except this one will be connected between those packets. And so what that means is if we do need to make an update to this page and it does exist in multiple packets, then those changes will be reflected in all of them at once. So you won't have to go into each packet and make those changes each time or import that newly edited form each time. If you do have that saved as a synced form, then you can just import that synced form once, and then anytime that you need to make updates to that page, or to that form, excuse me, you can come to this page and make those updates and not have to worry about going into each one of those packets. Again, you will have access to one free synced form for all accounts. And we'll take a quick look at this one. Well, actually, first, let's go ahead and add that to our webinar packet as well. And we'll add that at the very end. It will just be added at the end. But you'll notice on the import form dropdown, it will tell you that it is a synced form in those parentheses. So we can bring that over, select the tab that it is. And then if you want to update that tab title, you will have an opportunity to do so. However, once it has been added, computer's locking up on me. Once it's been added, you'll notice that as we go through these tabs, we are able to update any of the information on these forms in the builder. But once we get to that patient info tab, which is our synced form, we will not be able to update anything on this page from this packet. So it will let you know that you will need to go to that forms page to update the synced form itself. And just one note here, the My Forms page has changed recently to the Packets and Forms page. So just keep that in mind. Anytime that you see something tell you to go to My Forms, it is now telling you to go to Packets and Forms. But we will have that updated. And we'll just click through. My internet would love to work for me. We'll just refresh. Style. Okay, well, my computer's wanting to be, or my internet, excuse me, is being a little off, but we do have that form in our FormDr training packet, which is our first tab here. And I have also added that to my advanced beneficiary notice packet as the second tab here. I'm going to leave these two open. All that I've done here is just clicked on the public link to take us to those forms, just so that we can see a change made as soon as we've made that update on the synced form. So we'll come to our packets and forms page. We'll click on that forms tab, and then now we can get into updating our patient info form, which is our synced form. Same way, we'll click those three dots on the right, click edit forms. You'll notice on this one that we skip the add forms page and go right into the builder. That is because a synced form will only be able to have one tab in it. So you can make it as long as you want. However, it will only be one single tab. So just keep that in mind as well if you are building out any synced forms. But let's go ahead and just duplicate this out. Maybe we'll add a little rating scale or something too, just for fun, just so we can see a visual difference. And we'll go to the style page. We'll go to the publish page and back to my account. Now that those changes have been made, we can go back to our FormDr training packet. We can refresh that, and that first tab will have been updated. So we won't need to go into these packets to make these changes. They will automatically be made anytime that form has been refreshed. Those changes will be there for you. So the sync form can be very helpful. Just remember that it's only going to be one tab, and it will be it will be best used as something that is going to be held in multiple packets, and B, if it's something that you might be updating more often than not, or more than the other forms, then it could be a good candidate for that one, just because you won't have to make those updates so many times. But I'm going to go ahead and open up that chat also, just in case we do have any questions. That chat is open. I'm more than happy to answer any of those as we go along. But that will be the difference between the synced form and the packet, just the fact that it will only be able to have that one tab, and it will be able to be imported into these other packets. And again, if you already have a synced form and you're at that limit and you don't want to add any more, then you could just use that import form option to bring over a duplicate copy. But this can be very helpful, especially for older packets that have already been created a while back. You don't want to have to recreate them into a new packet, whatever the situation might be. But this is just one of the best ways to save time, I think. Also, to the templates, I brushed over this earlier, but if we click that template button on our Add Forms page, it will take you to our template library. And we have a lot of different templates in here that can be edited to your liking as well. You don't have to use them as is. If there's something that's just structured in a way that you like and you want to change the information within, then that is absolutely fine. Just one note on that. For instance, our physical therapy intake form packet, if there is any conditional information hidden behind an answer selection, just make sure to check for that, because you don't want to change this question to ask if the patient's on any medications or anything like that. And then when they select yes, they're presented with insurance information instead. So just be wary about that if you are editing these templates to be something different. But when you're searching through them, you can just click on that the preview image. It will take you to a live preview of that form. So if you do have any required fields and you click past them, it will notify you. And again, if there are any conditional fields, those will show as well. This one is a packet, so it has 4 tabs within it. And if we chose to use this one, we would receive all of those tabs within that packet as well. And again, if you don't need all of them and you would like to get rid of one of them or 2 of them, you'll just click those 3 dots and confirm. We don't really need these in this packet, so let's go ahead and get rid of all of them. But between the template and the import form, both of these are going to be really helpful while you're building out new packets, especially if there's some type of intake form or medical history form. We do have several of those already set up for you, and questionnaires as well. All right. Publish and back to account. But that will conclude the demonstration on the combining packets and the synced form. This one is a little bit shorter, but very straightforward information once you get the hang of how to use that function. And it doesn't look like we have any questions today. So that will conclude this webinar for our form building webinar for today. And just as a reminder, we do host the form building webinars every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. We do have a specific schedule that we'll be going through with those. You can find that by going to my account, support, and search guide. This will take you to our product guide, which can answer many questions that you might have just in terms of using the account in general or building forms. We have tons of articles in here with information on how to make whatever you're looking for happen. Autocomplete fields, for instance, will have some imagery with some information that you'll need to know, and then step-by-step instructions to help you get all squared away. And we have our FormDr update section at the bottom right of the screen. This will take you to our updates, so you can see all of our recent releases and any feature updates that we've released. But the webinar schedule will be held on the left side. If we go to April, for instance, you can just click on that title for any of the upcoming ones. It will take you right to the sign-up page for that day. If there are any in here that you won't be in attendance or won't be able to be in attendance for, but you would like to learn that information, just keep an eye on this page. We will be posting the recordings of those, and clicking this link here will just take you right to our YouTube page, and it will have some timestamps on there to let you know what we're talking about in each moment as well. But Just so everyone is aware, the topic for February was adding and creating new forms in an account. So we do have the videos posted there. March was going through all of the elements in the builder. So we went through each element, what they can do, and how we typically see them used. And then this month's topic is going over updating and editing existing forms and packets in the account. So we do have a few left for this month. We will be getting our May schedule posted here shortly as well, so please keep an eye out for that. And then on Mondays, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, we do host the onboarding schedule or the onboarding webinar where we go through general use of the account, setting up users, sending forms, things like that, administrative info. And then on Wednesdays now, we are focusing a little bit more in those onboarding webinars into the new features such as the synced form and the synced forms and the documents and things like that. So if you do have any staff or coworkers that would like to learn this information, or if you would like for them to learn this information, please feel free to send them our way, as these are all free. So we do encourage everybody to join as often as they like until they are comfortable with the product, and beyond if they like to attend. But thank you all for being here today. Hope to see you again very soon, and have a great afternoon.